Good morning. It's about 5:15. The wind is howling, and it howled all night long. My one tent pole fell over last night, so at 1 o'clock I had to get up and fix that. But the poor guy, poor Graceland, who's sleeping beside me, I probably kept him awake all night. Here comes a gust. It's probably 40, 50 miles an hour. So I'm packing up and getting out of here. I've got a good look going on this morning. It's 10 to 6 and I'm on the trail, sneaking out of camp before I can get blamed for keeping everyone awake last night, for my tent and footprint just flapping all night. I'm sure they'll catch up with me later and I'll apologize then. You can hear the wind howling still. It's not that cold. My thermometer says 50 and I was very pleasantly warm last night with my new down blanket that I made. So hopefully it was colder last night than 50. I know it was freezing when we were having dinner because tonight was forecast to be 24. And I'm hoping that down blanket was going to give me a good 20-degree boost in temperature. Anyways, I'm on the trail. I just packed and left. I didn't have breakfast, didn't brush my teeth. I got a little more climbing to do. I didn't really finish yesterday. So Mission Springs Camp is at mile 240 and elevation of 7,940 or 60. And I will be getting up to 8,600 feet today. And I think it's going to be a bit steep at the beginning and then rolly after that. Looks to be a nice morning. Hopefully I'll get some nice sunrise pictures. And I'll see you down the trail. That's looking down at the canyon I climbed up yesterday. Just a small portion of it. That's San Gorgonio across the way. Nice valley down there. And my trail. Just checked my thermometer and it's in the low 40s. So it's a bit brisk. Here's a nice look back down over, I believe, Mission Creek, or one of the forks of. Sorry for the wind. And the desert in the far distance. I'll try again with a scenic view. In the far distance, that's San Jacinto. And you can just see going down a peak of the Mission Creek drainage, one of the forks. And beyond that is the desert. So in all that haze should be Palm Springs, and to the left, some of Desert Hot Springs. This looks like a good place for a rest and to have my breakfast. Let's have a look inside. Wow, it must have been a great home at one time. I'm not sure the history behind it. Couple of rooms. Couple outbuildings. Obviously, it's seen better days, but I understand that some PCTers camp here, but they put their tents up inside in case if it is raining because it can leak. And I believe there's a mouse problem too. I'm having breakfast on the stoop. I've got bacon smashed potatoes, and I made a cup of coffee. So I'm gonna be here for a while, rest a bit. It's been 6.4 miles since I left camp this morning, and then I'll keep going. I've been so in my head this hike that I haven't filmed any of the guys that I've met. That's Graceland, who had dinner at my picnic table and shared my campsite, which I'm sure he regrets for all the noise that my tent made. Another point I didn't mention is that it's a dry 16 miles between where I camped last night and the next water source. So I started off this morning with 3 liters and a couple of swallows, which means even with the food I've eaten, my pack weighed more this morning than when I started yesterday. Luckily, I don't have thousands of feet of elevation today. Some, but nothing like yesterday. Looks like there's some weather trying to roll in from the coast. I think there's a slight chance of rain on Saturday. Which, you know, just par for the course. This is Graceland. Say hi, Graceland.
Hey, how are you?
So I had just stopped and had a little chat with Graceland. He got his name not because he's from Tennessee, but when he was starting at the border at Campo, someone asked, like, you know, how far do you plan to get? He goes, I'm going to Graceland, like the Paul Simon song. So that's his trail name. So I had a little chat, a little rest, again, inadvertently. Got my sunscreen on today. And yeah, so now I'm back on trail. It's all these stops that slow me down. I probably lose a couple hours a day resting, taking pictures, talking to you. These are snow plants, which I believe are a type of fungus that grows on the roots of the trees. The trail's been quite lovely. It isn't always, just coming down the switchback. But right now it really is. It's not terribly windy. I can hear it higher up, but I come in this little valley here. It's protected. It's a nice temperature. Scenery is gorgeous, full of trees, some rocks. And it might be because I had a good breakfast, but I have a much better attitude now than I did this morning. This morning it was cold and frigid, and I just wanted to get some miles in. Now I have all the time in the world to get there. Some of the trail so far this morning has been on old forest roads. This is a nice wide portion. Obviously, it's not that old, but it makes very easy walking, which again I'm grateful for, especially compared to yesterday. Just checking in. I've just reached 10 miles on Allison's watch, so I should be at PCT mile 250, and it is 11 o'clock, so I'm averaging 2 miles an hour, which I guess is okay considering all my little stops. And then I was probably at Coon Cabin for a good half an hour, maybe even a little bit more, and I should be making good time on these roads. So far so good. That's a different sign. And it's right beside the old zoo. Well, not really a zoo, but I think there's a wildlife sanctuary for old exotic animals like they used to use in the movies. Bears and lions and who knows what. I think it just closed down recently in the last year or two. They've decided this says wasteland, and it's made up of old bones, which is kind of freaky. Who knows where those bones came from? The old zoo? It's still really windy. Some of the gusts are actually kind of make me wobble on trail, pushing me to side. So Graceland and I have decided we're going to stop up here at Onyx Summit and hitch into Big Bear. That will, it'll end up being about 12 or even 13 miles for me today, but I'm more concerned about camping tonight. I haven't seen a single protected campsite really in the last 2 days that hasn't been in the wind, and I don't know if my tent can get me through another really gusty night like last night. So I'll get off, get a hotel, and just come back to the same trailhead in the morning and start again from there. Saying goodbye to our trail angel for a ride into town. Not too shabby. The perfect way to spend a night that has forecasted 50-mile-an-hour winds and a temperature of 24 degrees Fahrenheit is inside by the fire with a glass of wine.